As you probably know, Super Bowl 60 is coming up with the undetermined Seahawks facing off against the Dry Bowser Patriots. If you don't get that, watch part 1 after this. I am comparing every NFL team to a character from the Super Mario franchise. We've already done 12 teams, and today I'll do 12 more. I think you get the gist by now, so let's jump right into it. Goombas like the Jets, a character who was the first enemy you encountered in the first level of the first Super Mario's game. The Jets are a team who have sucked for a very long time, and when most teams see the Jets on their schedule, they just stop them like how Mario stomps Goombas. The Jets are an organization that continues to disappoint, and it looks like there will be no light at the end of their tunnel, like how the Goomba is always at the bottom of the food chain in the Mario universe, and there is no light at the end of the tunnel for a potential Goomba-themed game. Like how you feel sorry for Jets fans, you feel sorry for Goombas sometimes. In the newer games, Goombas would walk off ledges, similar to how Jets fans would. Never mind. I think you get it. Boom Boom is like the Seahawks. The Seahawks have made it to the Super Bowl every year a new pope has been elected, which has been once in every around 12-ish years. Boom Boom has been relevant once every 12-ish years, appearing in games like Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario 3D Land, and Bowser's Fury, to name a few. That might be a little more than 12-ish years, but that's not the point. When Boom Boom is at its peak, he is dominant. The Seahawks once had the Legion of Boom defense in 2013, when they beat the brakes off Funky Kong's Broncos in the Super Bowl. Boom Boom has been a reoccurring boss in the Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario 3D Land. Boom Boom plays defense by spinning around and going to his spiky shell, like how the Seahawks Legion of Boom only allowed 8 points in Super Bowl 48 versus the Broncos. There are a lot of parallels from the Boom of the Seahawks and the Booms from Boom Boom. Daisy is like the Colts, a fun character with some history. She has had her moments, but always finds a way to be somewhere in the middle. This year, the Colts started 7-1 and went from 8-2 at the top of the AFC to 8-9 and missing the playoffs. Daisy started out being the damsel in distress in Super Mario Land, being with Mario and not Luigi. The Colts originally played in Baltimore before moving to Indianapolis in 1984, which is like Daisy going from Mario to Luigi. The Colts have had one of the best running backs in the league, Jonathan Taylor, like how Daisy has Daisy Circuit and Mario Kart Wii. But with no new Daisy content as of recent, and the Colts staying average at best, Daisy and the Colts really do seem to prove to be similar in terms of averageness. Not bad, just average. Rosalina is like the Rams. You could say that both are stellar. The Rams had a high-flying offense with possible MVP quarterback Matthew Stafford, receivers Puka Nacua and Devonta Adams, and running back Kyron Williams, to name some notable. Rosalina is like Rams head coach Sean McVay, controlling all her Lumas like McVay controls his players on the field. The Rams were at one point this year galaxies above some other teams in the NFC, but Boom Boom Seahawks and Yoshi's 49ers eventually caught up, and the Rams fell to the 5th seed, but still the second best record in the NFC. Rosalina was once galaxies away from everyone, but now is part of the Mario Kart and Mario Party adventures with Mario and friends. There are 2 Mario Galaxy games, like how the Rams have won 2 Super Bowls. Rosalina and the Rams have tons of parallels. King Boo's like the Buccaneers. King Boo made his debut in Luigi's Mansion in 2001. Close how the Buccaneers won their first Super Bowl in the 2002 season. Luigi's Mansion 3 released in 2019. The next year is 2020. Tom Brady joined the Buccaneers and they won the Super Bowl that same year. It seems like when a big game with King Boo releases, the Buccaneers win the Super Bowl the next year. Baker Mayfield has resurrected his career since joining the Bucs, and was even in the MVP race this year until late October. King Boo was a fan favorite character in games like Mario Kart Wii, but him being left out in some games eventually led to him falling back in the shadows, like how the Buccaneers started 5-1 this year and finished 8-9 and lost the division to the Panthers, missing the playoffs. King Boo is currently in a tough spot for his future in the Mario franchise, like how the Buccaneers' future is uncertain with Mayfield and receivers like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Birdo is like the Saints. Lately, and even through early history, both have been known for sucking a lot. Both do have a ring as Birdo has a ring on her finger, and the Saints got a ring in 2009 from quarterback Drew Brees. Birdo's 2009 was being a boss in Super Mario 2, shooting lots of eggs at Mario. In 2009, the Saints got accused of Bountygate, which was a big scandal where people thought the Saints coach Sean Payton was telling his players to intentionally injure other teams' star players and would pay them to do so. Birdo's Bountygate was getting thrown out of the big-time slots and mainly only reappearing in Mario Kart, Mario Party, and Mario Sports games. Nothing wrong with that, but Birdo only got a couple other games to be a boss in, and they were the alternate RPG games. Maybe one day, Birdo might get her own course in Mario Kart game, like how her lover Yoshi did. Spike is like the Jaguars. Someone seemed to be a pretty cool character who doesn't get a whole lot of chance in games, but makes a splash when featured, usually as an enemy or a player in the newer Mario Party games. The Jaguars were the cool team in the 90s, having a kick-ass Jaguar logo. Now, they have a bright future and still are pretty cool. Spike's big thing is puking up these giant spiky balls and overhead throwing them at whatever Mario is. Like how the Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence would pick up the ball and just throw lasers across the field to win games. However, sometimes Spike would accidentally hit himself as his own big giant balls, like how Trevor Lawrence would throw his big giant balls right at the defense instead of at his receivers, costing the Jaguars a deep playoff run and ending their season early in the wild card round against Luigi's Bills. Anyway, Spike and the Jaguars are pretty cool. Lemmy Koopa's like the Texans. Lemmy is silly and the youngest of the Koopalings. Like how the Texans are the youngest team in the NFL. The Texans are a very silly team, with quarterback CJ Stroud throwing lots of interceptions and filming a lot too. Lemmy likes to bounce on his big bouncy ball and throw bombs at Mario, and CJ Stroud runs around like he's on a bouncy ball and drops bombs of stat lines every game, and that isn't a good thing. Lemmy's bomb throwing is also like how the Texans' good defense has been this year, just bouncing all over their opponents and bombing them on every point of the game. The Texans have never made it to the AFC Championship in their 24-season existence. Like how Lemmy Koopa has never really served much of a challenge to Mario. Both are bright futures, but are just too young. Koopa Troopa's like the Panthers. Normally, most kick around Koopa Troopa and don't seem as a threat. But when the Koopa is moving its shell, you can kill. The Panthers' Koopa shell has beaten the Packers, the Rams, and the Falcons twice to finish 8-9 and sneak into the playoffs as a 4 seed. Young third-year quarterback Bryce Young has developed like how a Koopa shell develops to be more dangerous the longer it is bouncing between objects. However, this Koopa shell Panthers team came close, yet so far, losing 34-31 to the Rams in the wildcard round this year, with the Panthers jumping out of the way, leading the Panthers' Koopa shell to fall into the void on its own. And just like a Koopa shell does, the Panthers will bounce back next year. Dry bones is like the Vikings. Whenever you try to crush them or step on them, they break apart for a bit, but always come back. The Vikings are 13-4, then 14-3 in 2022 and 2024 with playoff berths, and then went 7-10 and 9-8, missing the playoffs in 2023 and 2025. The Vikings have been crushed 4 times in the Super Bowl, and so far, the skeleton has yet to be put back together. Many Dry Bones fans want more Dry Bones representation in the Mario games, like how many Vikings fans just want the team to do better and sustain that success instead of flashes of hope on and off every other year. Led by second-year quarterback J.J. McCarthy, who made a lot of mistakes, this Viking skeleton has fallen apart and been put back together multiple times during the season. But being eliminated from the playoffs at 5-8 in early December truly was the final blow. Well, there's always next season to see if Dry Bones will come back together or stay dead for another year. Lakitu is like the Chargers. In New Super Mario Bros., there's the Lakitu boss that strikes lightning strangely. Anyway, Lakitu is always out there causing trouble, throwing spiny shells, while the Chargers are always out there causing trouble for a little bit at least. Then, Lakitu's cloud gets overtaken by Mario as Lakitu is defeated. For the Chargers, this is like their offensive line getting injured halfway through the season and their quarterback Justin Herbert getting killed every game. In the Mario Kart games in Super Mario 64, Lakitu is the cameraman. The Chargers have never won a Super Bowl and have only gone once, making them feel like outsiders, or maybe even the ones documenting everything going on around them so that one day, they can be ready for the big game again. This Chargers team has looked promising with a healthy O-line, but healthy is the key word. Diddy Kong is like the Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens were created to rival the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Diddy Kong was created to be friends with Donkey Kong. Diddy Kong came in the 1990s, like how the Ravens were founded then too. The Ravens had a dominant defense and won championships in 2000 and 2012. Diddy Kong was at its peak relevance with the Donkey Kong Country games being popular around those times. Today, Diddy Kong has just been so close to getting back to the higher levels of success. He has the pieces to the puzzle, but like the Ravens, Diddy Kong has been missing wide right lately. Diddy Kong did have his own Diddy Kong racing game back in the 90s, but that was where he really peaked with his own game. Diddy Kong and the Ravens have had some similarities, but also oppositions, and opposites do attract. And that's going to be enough part 2 here, as I've done 12 comparisons already. There are 8 teams left. I might make a part 3, but that's tough with only 8 teams left. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'm sorry for stuttering a lot of my lyrics. I'm pretty tired today. And I'll see you guys next video.